Alright, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Linnea, and today's reading, I wanted this to be, what message do you need to hear in order to overcome your current anxieties? So this could be anxieties over a relationship, it could be anxieties over your future, your path ahead, it could be about your career, it could be a family matter, a personal matter, whatever it is that you're currently feeling anxiety about. You know, when I'm uncertain, when I feel anxiety, this deck that I'm going to read to you from, this is the deck that I reach for. This deck has helped me countless times in countless ways. I feel like there's so much wisdom in these cards. They'll be in the description below. That I'm not sponsored by them at all. I just love these cards so much. I could talk about them forever. Genuinely, I think these are some of the best oracle cards that you can read from. Even if you don't necessarily know tarot, I don't use intuition for these really. I just pull them and I read from the guidebook, which is what I'm gonna do for you. But these cards, they're my go-to when I'm uncertain, when I need to reach out to the universe, when I need guidance from my spirit guides. These are the cards that I go to. And so today I wanted to bring them to you, for whatever it is that you're currently going through, whatever uncertainties or anxieties that you might have. I'm going to be reading to you one of these cards from this deck about, what do you need to hear to overcome these anxieties? And then we're also going to follow up with another card of what energy do you need to embody in order to, it could be a multitude of things, to gain confidence, to achieve what you desire, to manifest your desires, to accomplish your goals. What energy do you need to embody? What do you need to emulate in order to be the most confident, successful version of yourself? So that is what we're going to be looking at today. But first and foremost, I have 3 different readings for you to choose from. Pile 1, 2, and 3. And the timestamps for these piles will be down in the description box below, so you can quickly jump to whichever reading that you want to listen to. But go ahead and pause, figure that out, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm so pissed. I'm so sorry I'm yelling. I should have been filming. Okay, I never film when I shuffle. If this is your first time coming to my channel, you're gonna think this is such bullshit. Oh my god. I should have been filming that. I'm shuffling, okay. So these are 2 different cards from 2 different decks. They're both about animals. And you got the buffalo showing up twice. Like, God, I'm so pissed at myself. I never shuffle on camera. Just for that, just because of what just happened, I'm gonna shuffle on camera for pile 2 and pile 3. I usually cut it out because it's like tedious and I'm mumbling to myself and people like to skip over it. But the fact that this card came out first, this prayer answered card, which is the card that I'm gonna read for you, number 12, and it had a buffalo showing up on it, and I started thinking like, oh, there's an animal in this card too. Like, I'm gonna encourage the people in pile 1 to, look up the meaning of the buffalo. Like, what does that mean? I know it has a lot of spiritual significance in like Native American culture. I don't know what other significance it has in other cultures, but I was gonna go on a tangent with you basically. And then I got out the other deck, and I was like, okay, let's see what's gonna come out. The buffalo comes out, and I'm just, God, this is clearly a huge synchronicity for you, but I feel like the fact that it wasn't shuffled on camera takes away from it a little bit. So it's a little unfortunate, but I'm very excited for that for you, because clearly the buffalo is some sort of spiritual guide for you or some sort of synchronicity for you. It's clearly an important sign for you, which I'm going to get into, but I need to pause and gather my thoughts because, like I said, usually I take this time to pause and look at the cards and think them over, but yeah, anyways, just had to get that out because I was like, oh my god, I wish I was filming that. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and pause and then I'll be right back. Alright, pile 1. I went ahead and paused, and while I was pausing, I actually wanted to look into some of the symbolism that I was seeing in these cards because, first and foremost, I wanted to look up the buffalo and, see what it was talking about. But then I also noticed in this buffalo card on the right, you have the color purple, which is the color of the crown chakra. And then you also have lightning here. So there is some important symbolism going on, but God, I'm still not over the fact that you had these cards showing up twice. I think that's so crazy. But I'm going to get into all that symbolism, but I first want to start off with reading from the book. For this card on the left, number 12, Prayer Answered. Because that's the whole reason I'm doing this reading, is I love reading from this guidebook. So, this card is for the buffalo. North American Plains Indian tribes revered the great buffalo. Buffalo provided the means for survival, and very little was wasted. Buffalo was life. Sacred dance ceremonies were performed to honor buffalo and ask for a successful hunt. In these ceremonies, dancers would become the buffalo in spirit. The lesson of buffalo is the importance of asking the great mystery for help through syncing your prayers with action to create abundance and success. Act as if your prayers have already been answered. When we act as though our prayers have been answered, we become a magnet for our prayers to manifest themselves in their physical forms. Let's say you're experiencing disunity and having a difficult time with a colleague. Prayer is to resolve the issue and have unity between the two of you. Your prayer to the great mystery would be to ask for unity with your coworker and then act as if you already had this. This would look like being kind, respectful, and showing love to your coworker immediately, regardless of whether the problem was resolved or not. This action is what would create the unity and eventually dissolve the issue. When buffalo tramples into your spread, this medicine is a confirmation that your prayers are being heard. I think the fact that you had the buffalo showing up twice is like double confirmation. Yeah, I'm just going to pause here and say, when I think of a buffalo, I think of something incredibly strong. Like when people say immovable object, I think about a buffalo. Like this is something that nothing stands in its way. Like its confidence, its strength, and its power will allow it to go through any obstacle, to overcome any problem, anything in its path. Nothing can stand in its way. And I think if you've been going through a hard time, if you've been uncertain of your path ahead, I think the message here is to really embody this energy of the buffalo. And like it said, act as if your prayers have already been answered. So let's say you're trying to manifest, this is just something random, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but let's say you're trying to manifest, gold coming into your life, just like solid gold, like you really want a gold bar or something for some reason. And this is something you're stressing about, like, when is it going to come? You know, is it going to come or is it not? You know, how much will it be? Will there be a little bit? Will it be a lot? You know, am I going to have to fight for this thing? Instead of fretting over all these different little things, focus instead on the end state of you holding that gold bar in your hand, feeling the weight of it, knowing all that you had to overcome, the amount that you have grown, the amount that you have changed in order to get this thing in your hand. Feel that moment of confidence and success when you have the thing, and then truly believe that your prayers will be answered. That the thing that you desire, the thing that you're trying to manifest, that the universe wants you to have that too. If you can live in that belief and live in that feeling that you have the thing that you want, whether it's with you physically or not, that you have it because that prayer will be answered, then you can live with this confidence, the same confidence that the buffalo embodies, that immovable surety, that ability to stand strong in your faith, your belief, your faith in not just an outside source, but your faith in your personal abilities. What I think is interesting is, and I'm going to get back to this book, but I looked up lightning symbolism because I thought it was interesting. And this symbolizes sudden change, divine intervention, illumination, power. And I think specifically the part of divine intervention really spoke to me because if you think about lightning, you imagine like in a literal sense what lightning does. It kind of comes out of nowhere in this striking, powerful fashion. It can take just a plain, calm day and it can strike down from the sky and start like a wildfire. And I think sometimes we get so stuck in our day-to-day life that we think things can't suddenly change for the better. Like it just can't happen. I'm sure somebody who's never seen lightning before would say, a fire couldn't just start right here, right now. Like it's impossible. And then boom, lightning, fire starts. And it's like, in a sense, it's kind of divine intervention. Obviously, we now know what lightning is, but it's about the symbolism of it. I think you've got so stuck in day-to-day life and running the same story in your head over and over again that you don't believe that things can change for the better instantaneously. And I think it's almost like you feel like change isn't on the horizon. But if you think about lightning, you can't really feel when it's about to strike. It comes suddenly. Like you can know there's a storm going on and you can watch the sky waiting for it. But it's like a surprise each time it comes. Even if there was a lightning bolt like 10 seconds ago, you're still sitting there pensively like, is another one going to come? Like I have no idea. Like it's unpredictable. And I think what Spirit wants you to do is re-invite that, I don't think novelty is the right word, but re-invite that sense of anything can happen. at any moment. Your prayers can be answered at any moment. Things could change for the better at any moment. And to know that that's a possibility, not just a possibility, but it is plausible, that this thing that you've been wanting, that you've been desiring, that you've been trying to manifest into your life, that you've been working so hard for, if you can believe that it is destined to come, there's a confidence that comes with that. If you can know 100% that, for example, that gold bar that you want is going to come, then you can live in that confidence where you don't need to second guess when it's going to come because you know it will come. And then that's when you start to live with that kind of confidence that the buffalo embodies. Sorry, I'm a little sniffly. I think I woke up a little bit sick today, but I think the reason that you have these showing up at the same time is I think you've been living in your head a lot. And when I think about a buffalo as an animal, I think of something extremely grounded in reality. This is an animal that is very tied to the earth element. It is grounded, it is strong, it is steady, and it just takes one step forward at a time. You know, buffaloes aren't the fastest creatures, but you know that if it wants to get to a destination, it's gonna get there. Nothing is going to stop the buffalo. And I think that's the kind of energy that you need to embody. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this last paragraph here. When buffalo tramples into your spread, this medicine is a confirmation that your prayers are being heard. But it is of utmost importance that you stand in unwavering blind faith that they are coming to fruition. Hear that again. It is of utmost importance that you stand in unwavering blind faith that they are coming to fruition. Endure the time and uncertainty, because your deepest heart's desires will be manifested. Act like the person whose prayer has already been answered. You know, the thing about this book that I always joke about is like, why do I even try to expand upon things when it just summarizes exactly what I was trying to say, like so succinctly and better than I could say it? But I think that's exactly what you need to do. Live like the kind of person that already has their prayers answered. Live like you have a contract with God that says you will get this thing. Okay, you know you're going to get it. You know that you have the ability to bring it to fruition. You know that the universe is on your side when you see those signs and synchronicities, when you get readings like this coming to you, whether you do them yourself or whether I or somebody else does them for you. When you get these messages telling you to believe and have strong faith, the only little piece that's missing is you. Getting in line and saying, okay, how can I embody that person that knows that this thing that they want is coming? I think you start by embodying the buffalo. Focus on grounding. Focus on one step at a time. Don't focus on, there's an analogy I bring up all the time. It's like, don't look at the mountain, look at the steps in front of you. If you look at an entire mountain, you're going to think, God, it's going to be impossible to get up that thing. Like, I'm never going to get to the top. It's humongous. But if instead you look at the ground right in front of you and you say, can I take one step? Yeah, you take steps every day. Can I take 10 steps? Yeah, I could probably take 10 steps today. Okay, what about 100? Yeah, 100 steps is like, I don't know, taking a walk around the block. Before you know it, you've made it halfway up the mountain, and you're looking up and you're looking down, look at how far you've come. I think you need to stand where you are right now and take stock of how far you've come in your journey, how hard that you've worked. You know, something I've been wanting to do is make a podcast episode about how to judge success when you haven't necessarily achieved your dream yet. And not just success, but judging your progress. I think a lot of creatives and artists can get stuck in feeling like they're not improving, or maybe they're getting worse than they were before. But I think that there are a lot of different ways to be able to tell how much you've grown, how much you've changed. Whether it's by looking retrospectively at, I don't know, let's say you're an artist, looking at your art from when you first started versus looking at it now. Or looking at the number of art pieces that you've created. Like, really set them all out in front of yourself and say, look at how much my art fills up this room. Look at how much I have actually created and done. And maybe what you have right in front of you, your most recent piece, isn't, I don't know, a Van Gogh, or maybe it's not the end goal of what you're hoping to achieve one day. But it's about realizing you're halfway up the mountain. You don't need to look at it as this huge, scary thing that you're never gonna surmount. Instead, look at it as, God, I've made it halfway. I have done so much. And focus on this energy of the buffalo. Just take one step in front of the other. Live with that confidence. Live with that strength that the buffalo embodies. I think that the next few months or year of your future, I think this is going to be the spirit animal that is most highly linked towards you, because this is the energy that you have to embody. So, pile 1, that is everything that I have to say. One final thing is the color purple here, it resonates with it correlates to the crown chakra, which I think is interesting because buffalo, if I was to say what the buffalo reminds me of, I would say it's the root chakra, which if you don't know, root chakra is the one closest to the earth. This is the one all about grounding, versus the crown chakra is the one that is the most cerebral and intuitive and connected to spirit. And I think you've been more on the cerebral side. You've been very up in your head, very thinking about all the possibilities, and your mind is running 1,000,000 miles a minute. I think it's telling you your body and your mind, they need to be grounded in this energy of the buffalo. But I think when you are fully grounded, that is when you achieve the height of your intuitive ability. I think our mind can run 1,000,000 miles a second. We can be highly cerebral, but sometimes even that can block out our intuition. Sometimes in order to feel that intuition, to feel that faith, to feel spirit within you and around you, you need to let go of your mind and instead return to your roots and be fully grounded. I think when you're fully grounded, that's when that unwavering faith and confidence will come. So, pile 1, that's everything that I have. I hope this reading found you when you needed it the most. Real sorry that I didn't shuffle on camera. God, that would have been so good for you to see, but yeah, that's everything that I have. So thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. All right, pile 2. I have to shuffle on camera because for pile 1, they literally had, so I'm using 2 different decks here, 2 different decks that have pictures of animals on them. They had the exact same animal come up twice, and I wasn't shuffling on camera, and I really beat myself up about that because it's like, it seems too good to be true. So for you in pile 3, I'm shuffling on camera, even though I don't normally do this. So for pile 2, spirit guides of pile 2. What message does pile 2 need right now to alleviate their worries, uncertainties, and anxieties? What message does pile 2 need right now? Interesting. You know, what I think is interesting here is when you were picking those first 3 cards, they were upside down, but this is actually the card that was on the bottom of yours. I usually take those cards, I put them back, and then I shuffle and get you a different one, but for some reason, this card is important to you, so that's interesting. Also, kind of wish that I had flipped over those cards at the beginning. I feel like I should be showing more so people can really feel these synchronicities. Okay, so for this next deck, this one is all about what energy do you need to embody in order to achieve your goals, desires, wishes, and manifest what you want into your life. So, for pile 2, what energy should pile 2 be embodying? The bat. You know what's interesting about these 2 cards is, it's even interesting that it says perception here, is you literally have, well, I guess a bat's not a bird, but you have these 2 flying creatures that can't see. You know, bats are blind, but the ostrich can see. It's just designed to bury its head in the sand. And this talks about perception. So I think sight, or even the things that we can't see, are going to be a very important theme to your reading. So, starting off with number 21, perception. We're going to read from this guidebook, because I love this guidebook. And it's very helpful. So, 21, perception. Ostrich speaks to us about perception. The image of burying one's head in the ground conjures a feeling of the inability to face a wider perspective. To be fair, the ostrich burrows her head in the ground not to hide, but to rotate her eggs. When this card comes to you in a reading, however, it is the symbolism of burying one's head in the ground that we are meditating upon. Studies have been conducted to show that a hill will spatially be perceived as steeper when a person is feeling sad. Our emotion literally shapes our perception. We do not see life objectively. Instead, the way we see our physical reality is influenced by our internal emotional experience. When a situation reminds your subconscious of an uncomfortable memory, your subconscious will start to shape what you see through the lens of that past experience. Ostrich asks you to look at your current situation and recognize what perceptions you may be projecting onto it. One way to begin to shift your perception is to own that your understanding is never fully accurate. Instead of drowning in uncomfortable feelings, step back and understand that your emotions do not dictate ultimate truth. Realize the control you have over your thoughts about a situation. This control is strengthened the more you become cognitively aware of your perception by questioning it. Start to notice the autopilot chatter in your mind. Listen to how it belittles you and other people around you. As the Buddhist meditation teacher and psychologist Tara Brach teaches, the primitive brain continuously hijacks our ability to be present in the moment. The thoughts are real, but rarely do they hold any validity. Tell yourself, don't believe the thoughts, over and over again. This not only snaps you out of the autopilot zombie mind, but also starts to reprogram your brain to put you in charge of your perception. Ostrich's medicine asks you to consistently practice this awareness, and you will transition from being a victim of your thoughts to becoming a master of your perception. So, that's great. No notes. Honestly, I always try to expand upon that book, but I think it just summarizes things perfectly, so I'm going to leave it at that. But something that I was thinking about when I was looking at the difference between the bat and this ostrich, I was thinking about how the ostrich is actively trying to bury its head in the sand. It has the ability to see, but it's like it's trying to drown out the noise. It is forcing its head into the ground. Versus the bat was never born with sight. It can't see, but it continues to move and fly and go after the things that it wants. It's trusting its other senses. And so a little piece of what I think that these cards are trying to say to you, and what I think Spirit wants you to embody, the energy it wants you to embody, is the energy of the bat. When I think of the idea of sight as it relates to what that was talking about, I think of it as the thoughts that we have running around in our head, the story that you're telling yourself. For example, let's say that you're trying to pursue a career in some field, and the story that you tell yourself is, I'm not qualified enough. I don't have all the necessary qualifications, and therefore they're just not going to hire me. They're not going to want me. They're going to look past me and choose somebody else, so why do I even try? You're telling yourself that story. No one has come up to you and read your resume and said, nah, you're underqualified, we're not going to take you. Or maybe somebody said that, but you're projecting that past experience onto future chances. And it's causing you to turn away and not even take a chance on those different things. Just because something happened in the past does not mean that that is the precedent for every single encounter you're going to have for the rest of your life. Just because, I don't know, maybe when you were dating in your teens, somebody said they don't want to date you because you have freckles, doesn't mean that there's not somebody out there that loves freckles and would want to be with you and would think that you're gorgeous for having freckles. And I think that what Spirit wants you to do is not just reevaluate these stories that you tell yourself, but just fully take all of them out of your brain. Any preconceived notions, any precedents that you might have set in your mind, just take them out of your mind. It's like, if sight is bothering you, if you have to duck your head in the sand, how about instead you just keep your eyes closed and just go after what you want? When I think about the bat can't see. And so I imagine in order to hear, it has to empty its mind of all these thoughts. In order for you to embody this energy, I think what you need to do is you need to just pursue the thing that you want to pursue. For example, going after those job positions where you think you might be underqualified. Just take those thoughts out of your brain and apply anyway. Go to that interview anyway. It doesn't matter what your brain says, your brain is always going to try to hold you back. And yes, it's doing this because it's trying to protect us. We all have this self-defense mechanism in our brain that brings up these horrible thoughts in order to protect us. Yes, it's just trying to save you. But sometimes by trying to save us, our brain is holding us back from our true potential. And so I want you to think about what you want right now, what you're trying to achieve, what you're going after. What's the first thing that pops up in your head? It's probably a message of, I don't think I'm good enough, or I just don't think it's possible, or, it didn't work out for these people, so therefore it's not going to work out for me, or if these people are doing this job and their life is miserable, so therefore my life must be miserable if I try to do this job. Let's not listen to any of those voices. You're on this path for a reason. You have come this far for a reason. And Spirit is guiding you along this path for a reason. The only thing holding you back, the only thing making you second guess, the only thing causing you to want to walk away is your own brain. It's the messages in your head. And when I think about a bat flying forward, it's just it doesn't have sight. I feel like it's hard for me to correlate these two things, but I'm thinking of like the voices in your head that belittle you or tell you you're not good enough or tell you that it's not going to work out or convince you that it's not possible. Those voices are kind of like sight. The bat has no need for sight. It doesn't freak out. It doesn't let those voices get it down. It just keeps going. It just keeps going and it relies on a different sense. And so I think for you, I think you need to take a page out of this bat's note, or a page out of this bat's book, and empty your mind of these thoughts. Or even if you still have them, just be like, okay, I acknowledge them. I'm still going to do it anyway. I'm still going to apply to that job anyway, even though my brain tells me it's not going to work, even though my brain tells me there's a 99% chance that I'm not going to succeed, I'm still going to try. Even though there's a 99.99999, doesn't matter. You're still going to try. You're still going to put one foot in front of the other. You're still going to reach out. You're still going to keep trying. You're going to trust your abilities, even though every part of your being is telling you it's not going to work, every part of you feels like you're going to fail. I want to tell you something important. You do not know the future. You think that you have a good approximation of the future. You have no idea what the future holds for you. Life can change in an instant. Everything can change for the better, for the worse, in an instant. We think that we have things figured out. We think we know what's going to happen next, and we think we know what's best for ourselves. You don't know. And I don't say this to belittle you, but I say this just because it's true. You cannot predict the future. Even me with tarot, what I'm doing here, I'm showing you a good approximation of the most likely course of events, but I cannot tell you exactly what's going to happen. You know why? Because we still have free will. You know, no matter what you believe, if tarot was 100% accurate, I'd be a billionaire and I'd be going to Vegas right now. Like, yes, I believe in it. Yes, it shows a good approximation, but it does not show 100% what will happen. And so if you can't trust that, why should you trust the voice in your head that's telling you it's not going to happen? That voice is not from the future. That voice is from you right now. And so I think it's time that you look these voices in the eye, the metaphorical eye. Look at these stories that you've been telling yourself and just pluck them out of your brain and just keep moving forward anyway. Because when I think of the bat, it just keeps moving forward. It can't see, but it still moves forward anyway. I think you are destined for success. I think you are destined to walk this path and to see where it leads you. And the only thing holding you back and slowing you down are the voices in your head telling you all the reasons why it's not going to work. You know, if we sat down together and I was like, okay, let's think of all the reasons why it couldn't work, we could probably come up with a really long list. We could say, yeah, you could get struck by lightning as soon as you walk into the front door. Yeah, that's one way it couldn't work out. Yeah, this person could just not like you because you remind them of an ex that they had. That's another reason why it couldn't work out. But instead of doing that, which we could do all damn day and come up with an infinite number of reasons why it wouldn't work, why it shouldn't work, let's sit down and start asking ourselves, how could it work? Why could they like you? Why could you be a good fit for this position? Why could it work out that you attain this goal? Oh, maybe you walk in and maybe you just there's a synergy that you have with this interviewer and they're like, you are the perfect person for this position. And they don't even care about what your resume says. They just know. Or maybe you get an offer on the street, just walking down the street and somebody comes up to you and says, hey, you look like the exact kind of person that would be great for this specific job. And it's just this, oh, what an auspicious sign. Like, instead of asking yourself all the ways it can't work, ask yourself all the ways that it can. Shift your perspective and allow yourself to fly on blind faith of you don't know what the future holds. Don't tip the scale one way or the other that it will work or it won't work. Just allow yourself to fly forward on blind faith and say, you know what, whatever is going to come, I'm going to take it, but I am going to go that way anyway. I'm going to go forward anyway. That's the energy that you need to embody. You know, something funny about bats is something my dad showed me when I was little was if you go outside around dusk or nighttime, you can take like a little pebble off the ground and you throw it up in the air, and all the bats swoop down because they think that it's food. You know, they think that it's like a bug flying by. The bats don't know that it's a pebble, but they still take that chance anyways. They go 100% in, 100% head first, whether they're going to succeed or not, because they know that that's my chance, that's the thing I want to go after, and I'm going to go get it. And if it doesn't work out, it's okay, because maybe the next time it will be a bug. Maybe the next time it'll just be a pebble that some kid is throwing in the air. But all that matters is they know that if they don't take that shot, they're never going to know what'll happen. It's like that quote that is super overused, but it's 100% true. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So take some damn shots. Maybe literally. But pile 2, that's everything that I have. I think that you have a wonderful path ahead of you. I think Spirit really wants to guide you towards it. But it's like you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I feel like you're the horse right now, and Spirit's trying to tell you all the ways that it can work. But if you want to convince yourself that it's not going to work, if you want to bog yourself down, you're never going to know. You're never going to find out, and you might never succeed. But it starts with you saying, okay, how can I shift this perspective? How can I put one foot in front of the other to go after this thing, to continue down this path, to try, to put myself out there? So pile 2, I hope this reading found you when you needed the most. I really, really encourage you, take those chances, take those shots. You never know. You literally never, ever, ever know. Don't convince yourself that you know what's going to happen, because you never know what the future might hold for you. And always be on the side of positivity, and, maybe it will work out instead of pessimism, because it's so easy to fall into pessimism. But that's everything that I have. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. All right, pile 3. Last but certainly not least, I am shuffling on camera because pile 1 had 2 cards come out that were just so, they were so perfect, and I wish that I had been shuffling on camera. And long story short, I'm shuffling on camera for you now. You can skip it, but I just feel like if something like that happens again, I want it to be on camera because it was so good. But, so pile 2, pile 3. Spirit guides of pile 3, please come forward. So pile 3, what message do you need right now to alleviate your anxieties, uncertainties, or worries? What message does pile 3 need right now? What message does pile 3 need right now? Oh, that's 2. Sorry, I'm only doing 1 this time. I know. What message does pile 3 need right now? Wow, you keep having 2 cards come out. I'm sorry, but that's just not what we're doing today, Spirit. Sorry if you're getting mad at me, pile 3, but that's just... Listen, sometimes I let multiple cards come out, but today I'm specifically looking for 1. And you're the only pile so far that I've had any problems shuffling for. Everybody else has been coming out easy, but for some reason you're having some blockages, so... And some stubbornness. So, Spirit Guides of pile 3. What message does pile 3 need right now? What messages does pile 3 need right now? Alright, there we go. Aw, the fox. Okay, that's weird. Siri just popped up. I did not say your name, girl. Weird things happening in your reading. Weird things happening. Okay, anyways. The fox, number 44. So foxes could be an important animal spirit for you, but we're going to get another deck out just to see what energy should you embody in order to achieve your goals, your desires, your wishes, your manifestations. So, what energy does pile 3 need to embody? Octopus. Interesting. Okay. So, starting off with this fox card, number 44, which says almost there, which this is a great card for those of you that are on a path towards something specific that you desire. Whether it's a career or a specific goal you've been trying to achieve, I feel like this card comes out as a sign that you're very close to achieving the success that you want. Just center this real fast. And let's see. So, number 44. Okay. Fox. In the blossoming spring season, little Fox frolicked and skipped in the wild woods. As he played, his attention was constantly drawn to a distant light. The light glimmered deep in the forest past the rumbling river. Although he couldn't quite make out what the light was, every bone in his body knew that it was meant for him, and his soul would spark with joy when he saw it. It was as if the light were a magnet calling out to him, but whenever little Fox ventured towards the light, he was always abruptly stopped by the roaring river before him. Little Fox would fall into despair, for he could not unite with the light that called him. Time went on, and spring became summer. Little Fox would continue to catch glimpses of the light. Still filled with excitement and longing to unite with his beloved light, he would regularly attempt to reach it, only to again be blocked by the roaring river. More time passed, and as autumn approached, little Fox grew and learned many lessons, yet he was still faced with an unquenchable thirst for the light. Little Fox became distraught and angry towards life. He often cried out in sharp howls, forsaking life for presenting him with the beauty of the light without allowing him to embrace it. He grew mistrustful that life did not have his best interest in mind, and increasingly became hardened and jaded. Autumn transformed into winter. By this point, little Fox was Big Fox, but his heart was broken, for the only thing he ever longed deeply for was out of his reach. Big Fox gave up. During the early winter months, Big Fox did what he had to do to survive, but he had a hole in his heart. He walked with his head low, for he could not bear to look up and see the out-of-reach light. One night, as Big Fox lay asleep, snow began to fall. When Big Fox awoke, he was taken aback at this new element he had never experienced. As he started his day, he saw a gaggle of geese standing on the river in the distance. Completely perplexed as how they were now standing on the water, he approached the river with caution. He had learned through all his seasons of life that he must be careful and cautious. As he put his paw on the water, he found it to be hard and sturdy. He gasped and thought, could it be? Could this path be to my light? Big Fox carefully crossed the hard water with deep awareness. He listened for the cracks and creaks in the hard water and scanned the sky for hawk approaching. As he crossed the river with extreme care, it dawned on him that if he were Little Fox, he would have run boldly across the hard water without a care in the world and could have been hurt or even killed. A shower of epiphanies began to rain on him. He realized that he had to go through all the seasons and learn all the lessons to be prepared to walk towards the light destined for him. As Big Fox finally crossed the great river, he thanked Mother Earth and Father Sky and understood that he had to wait to gain the wisdom that prepared him for crossing the river. If there is something that you yearn for in your heart and have been trying to achieve with little to no success, this is profound confirmation that it is approaching. Be patient. There is wisdom in the waiting. This is the preparation time. You are gaining what you need to unite fully with what your heart desires. Endure, endure, endure. I think that has to be one of my favorite cards out of this entire deck. I got this card come out to me once when I needed it the most, and I hope that you got it when you needed it the most. But I hope that this is a sign to you that if there's something that you've been trying to achieve, something that you've been grasping out to and trying so hard for, whether it's starting a business or pursuing a specific career, or you have a vision of what you want your life to look like and you've been working so hard towards it. Whatever this goal is in your mind, this thing that you desire so deeply, I think it is coming. But there's a reason why you don't have it yet. There is a reason why you've had to go through this waiting period, why you've had to go through this period of life where you didn't quite know, or you didn't quite know why you were waiting, but I think that there were lessons learned. There were things that you had to step through, different milestones you had to reach to prepare you for this thing to come. Like, I almost imagine, what if your goal was owning your own shop where you sold pottery? I don't know, maybe you really like pottery, but you couldn't attain that for some reason. And maybe you had to work as an accountant for 5 years and you hated it. You hated having to be an accountant because it was so boring and you didn't like math. But maybe those lessons that you learned as an accountant allow you to have a future business that will thrive, because you'll understand the books, you'll understand your credits and your debits and all the stuff that you need to know in order to run a business. And it's like, it'll click into place. All this period of time where you have gone without this thing that you want, one day these realizations will click into place of why you had to go through all of that throughout all that time. Why you had to learn all these lessons, why you had to have all these experiences, and it will make that end goal all the sweeter because it will fall into place when the time is right. When I look at this octopus card, octopi, they have 8 arms. This isn't new information. Everybody knows this, but when I'm looking at these arms, I'm almost imagining that each arm is a different capability. And obviously this isn't how it works, but I'm imagining that if you were a baby octopus, you had to grow an arm each time that you gained a new capability, each time you learned a new lesson, each time that you succeeded and attained a specific goal, each time that you accomplished something that you thought you couldn't accomplish, you grew a new arm. And each of these arms represents a capability that you have within you. Not only do you have this physical capability, but each of these lessons learned has built a confidence into you. That's when I see this octopi are very, very smart animals. And I see in this picture, it has like all this color and this giant bulbous brain of it. And I almost think of you gaining this bigger brain and more arms, and it's turning you into this extremely capable person. And all this to say, not only is it important that you had this time to learn and grow before you achieve your desire, before you have this success and this thing that you're reaching towards, but you also had to grow into this octopus energy. And what I mean by this energy is I think the reason I got this card out is to see what kind of energy do you need to embody in order to achieve your goals, in order to be the most confident version of yourself, in order to be the version of yourself that can reach success. And it gave you this card. I think Spirit wants you to look at yourself, take a good long look at yourself and ask yourself, what capabilities and skills do I have right now? What capabilities and skills have I built up through this period of waiting, through this period of time where I don't have my goals? Like let's go back to that example, the goal where you're the business owner of your own pottery shop, but right now you're an accountant. So ask yourself, what have I learned in this period of time where I've just been an accountant and I don't really enjoy it? Maybe in this period of time you've built up a lot of connections with people that are also aspiring business owners. Maybe, like I said, you've built up all this knowledge within yourself about how to run business accounts and how different flows of money work. And maybe in your personal life even, you've developed certain relationships and networked with people that are interested in learning pottery, or people that would be willing to promote your business. I think Spirit wants you to say, yes, you have not yet attained your goal. You've not yet achieved the success that you want. You don't yet have that manifestation, but you're on the brink of it. And before you get there, Spirit does not want you to feel like this period of time before then has been a waste. Look back on it and ask yourself, what lessons have I learned that are invaluable? Lessons that I would never want to give away. Lessons that I'm so thankful I had this time to learn. Even though I wasn't in my end goal yet, even though I didn't have all the things that I wanted, what lessons are so valuable that I'd go through all this again for it? Just to have that experience again, just to have that knowledge. And ask yourself, what do you have within you that makes you capable of having this goal? And, back with that business idea, what skills do you have within you right now that would make you a good business owner? Maybe in this period of time, you've been working with a specific group of people it's forced you to learn how to network and forced you to learn how to build social ties better. And it's forced you to make this web of people around you that, have different skills, people that you can call upon. Maybe one of your coworkers was, you thought that they were just an assistant, but turns out that they're great at marketing. And now you can reach out and ask them for tips and tricks, or maybe even hire them to be part of your marketing department. I don't know. But when I look at the octopus, I look at somebody that is extremely capable and extremely intelligent. And yes, I think that you're definitely a capable and intelligent person on your own. But I think that, let's say this period of time was like a 10-year block of time that you've been working towards this goal. In this 10-year block of time, I think it has built you into this strong, confident, intelligent person that you are today. I think that capability was always within you, but it's because of all the things that you've had to go through up until now that have built you into this person that is able to take on this new task of whatever it is that you want to accomplish in the future. And so when I say embody the energy of an octopus, embody the energy of somebody that knows how smart they are. Remind yourself how capable you are. And if you feel right now that I don't really know how capable I am, I want you to sit down and make a list of all the skills that you have. And don't sit down until you feel satisfied that you have labeled everything that you're good at. And really expand your mind to not just be whatever skills that people say are valuable, but genuine, like, I can play Jenga so well, like nobody can beat me at Jenga. And then ask yourself, how is this valuable? Well, I'm very dexterous, and I know where to put the right pieces, and I know when the time is right to go after certain things. And ask yourself, how can I apply this to something else? Like, I don't know, maybe you want to be a surgeon. And it's like, well, my hands have to be very stable and not shaky in order to play Jenga so well. And like, I think that you have so many skills that you don't even necessarily recognize as skills because a part of your brain is just like, oh, well, it's not super necessary. I want to task you with, actually, let's delve into these things and ask ourselves, like, how can this be applied to this thing that I want to do? Or not even just applying it to something, but how can I see the worth in these skills that I have, in this knowledge that I have, where, I don't know, let's say you're really into world building or like Dungeons and Dragons, and it's like, okay, well, how is this useful? Well, it requires creativity. It requires weaving a storyline. It requires having the intelligence to be able to connect all these different things to one another, and it requires this confidence to be able to do something silly like role-playing a tabletop role-playing game. So I know these are just like random examples, but I feel like you are such a capable, intelligent person who hasn't really fully sat in that recognition of your worth. Recognition of how far you've come, how much you've been able to accomplish. And so that's why I want to task you with, sit down, make a list of all the things that you're good at. Make a list of all the things that you enjoy, all the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, and really delve into, how are any of these valuable? How can I find value in being the best potato peeler? I don't know, maybe it's a sign of, how long you've worked to the point that it's muscle memory that you're able to do this thing. Or maybe you see the value in the fact that you're able to help others when you're putting together, I don't know, Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe you're going to be a great cook because of all the stuff that you've done at home. I don't know. But I know that there's a way that you can see value in what you have within you. I think you just haven't tasked yourself with actively doing it. So that's why I'm tasking yourself, sit down and do this. Look within yourself and ask yourself, what makes me intelligent? Not just grades, not just things that you've learned in school, but, like I'm playing this game called Wolf Den. It's super fun. It's like a pet simulator, but something that I really love about it is the economy within the game. There's a lot of buying and selling and trading that goes on, and ways that you can start from the bottom and work your way up to like the top of the economy. That's the part that I find the most entertaining. And yeah, you could look at that and say like, oh, it's just a silly wolf game that like people are playing online. But you can look at it and say, actually, I've learned a lot about depreciating assets, and I've learned a lot about buying and selling and like estimating worth and value of things. And maybe it's just a game, but now I know a little bit about human behavior and how that translates to a real world economy. And so I could have just sat there and been like, oh, this is just a game that's wasting my time and like I'm not learning anything of value. I think there's always a way to take away lessons from things. And I think something about this first card that we read about, the Almost There card, the fox didn't realize until the very end of his journey how much he had learned and how much those lessons have crafted him into somebody that is able to finally go after the thing that he wants. And I think what you need right now isn't a new lesson, but it's just recognition of how far you've come and how much you've grown in your current worth right now. So, pile 3, I think that's everything that I have for you. I feel like I could harp on this forever, but I hope that you can really sit down and recognize your worth, recognize your skills, recognize how smart and capable you are, because I feel like life and the universe have been crafting you into somebody who is able to have the things that you desire. And right now, it's about time of just, can we recognize that and then stand in the confidence of knowing that every single one of these arms on this octopus represents a different capability, a different strength, a different power. And that big, beautiful, bulbous head represents a big, fat, juicy brain that knows so much. So that's a little gross, but pile 3, I hope that this encouraged you. I hope that this made you feel a little bit more confident about yourself. And like I said, delve deep. Ask yourself how all of these things that you love to do, all these things you do in your daily life that maybe you've just kind of discounted as like, oh, well, everybody can do that. Well, ask yourself, what are some reasons why not just anybody can do it? What are some things that are actually, that make this a very valuable skill that can be applied to something else? So, that's everything that I have. I hope you enjoyed it, but thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.